What's going on, everyone? Welcome. This is the Warehouse Series. As of the time of filming this, I am 10 people away from subscribing to my channel to get to 4,000. This is Saturday. I'm filming this for tomorrow, Sunday. Hopefully by the time this gets out, I'm at 4,000. Guys, if you want to join Discord, that link is in the description below. You want to give me a thumbs up, I really appreciate it. And if you want to help support my channel by donating to Venmo, you know I appreciate it. Guys, why TikToks? Why TikToks? I like the TikToks because it gives us a visual inside the warehouse of other people making mistakes. And like I put on my thumbnail, we get to learn off of it. We get to get tips from it. And we also, the most important, we get to learn safety tips off of it. So I like these TikToks. I'm going to keep scrolling through them. If you guys come across TikToks that I have not posted on my videos yet, share them with me so I have them and I will go over them. I just really believe it's a great learning experience. So let's get to the first TikTok. So after every TikTok, I'm going to stop it. And if you want to, pause it, because I'm going to give my answer on it. Who's at fault? What should have been done differently to help prevent what is going on in these TikToks? So if you want to pause for a second and answer yourself, you know, what do you think I'm going to say? So that's what I want you guys to take away from these TikToks. So let's get to the first set of TikToks. So here is the first one right here. We got a girl walking. Now, I initially thought she was on her phone, but I think she's just scratching her face or something. And she trips over these forks. Bam! And she slams her forehead off the ground, which is, oh, I can't even imagine that off of a concrete ground. I'm sure she probably had some damage done there, concussion, very sore head, you know. So my opinion here, what happened and what could have been prevented? Obviously, she was not paying attention. Obviously, she's a person from the office, in my guess, and she is not out on the floor. She does not know the equipment, because if I'm walking around a forklift, obviously there is forks on the ground. You know, there's forks in front of the forklift. So obviously I need to walk a little, you know, wider around it. So she's either brand new in the office, she doesn't walk the floor that often, and she's not familiar with the equipment. This is why I truly believe that people inside the office staff that come out on the floor every once in a while, they need a safety course on the floor. All right. We got people at our building that drive on carts that are a little dangerous. Once again, I revealed where I work at, so I'm not going to get a little crazy with that. But I think that office staff people should be on a safety course out on the floor. Even though they're being applied for the office, if they are going to be entering that floor, they need to be walked around. Now, with that being said, the person that parked that forklift and went to break or whatever they did, you need to lower your forks all the way to the ground. All right. Anytime you get off a forklift, your forks should be as low to the ground as possible. So if someone does trip over them, it's not as severe, because the higher up the leg, if you get into the shin area, you're going to have that result right there. If those forks were all the way down to the ground, she might have been able to trip and catch herself. So two people at fault there, in my opinion, the lady and whoever was on that forklift operator. Let's take a look at the second TikTok. All right, guys, right here we got, I've never seen one of these before. It's almost like a pallet jack, just a small pallet jack. And we got a guy getting a pallet out of the first level right here. And boom, it just falls. Now, that was a longer video, so I'm only going to play it once. So all what he did was just bump that, and it fell right through the rack. Who do you think is at fault? All right, I don't know if you're going to be with me on this one. If you pause the video and you're coming back, that's a warehouse issue, in my opinion. If you having people take the that stuff off the first level, you need to have cross braces going in those racks for that reason and that reason alone. If you have, especially liquid, guys, if you have liquid on a rack and you have no cross braces running across those racks, that is a warehouse issue, in my opinion, because it is so easy to do what that kid did. It is so easy to bump a pallet, and for it to fall off like that so easy, that's a warehouse issue, 100%. You should have cross braces on those racks, so if you do bump a pallet, it's not falling down like it did right there. So that is a warehouse issue, in my opinion. All right, guys, this next TikTok, we got this happening right here. Let's watch this one again since it's a little quick. All right, guys, who's at fault? Was it the person driving across the aisle or the person driving through the aisle? Obviously, the person that was crossing across the aisle. Guys, whoever is in the cross aisle of your building has the right of way. All right? If you are driving through the aisles and you see someone in the cross aisle coming, you should slow down, beep your horn, and stop. That person just blew right through there. It was just amazing. Luckily, they weren't a little closer and they didn't collide. But without a doubt, 110 million%, the person that was driving through the aisles was wrong. The person in the cross aisle has the right of way. You stop for them every single time. All right, let's take a look at the next one right here. We got a guy that fell asleep on a jack and he bumps into the rack. And holy crap, this guy is lucky to be alive. I'll tell you that right now. Absolutely lucky to be alive. Just crazy. I mean, I want to talk about a couple things right here, okay? All right, guys, so in this situation right here, we got a guy that fell asleep on a jack and hit the rack. My theory on this is that, first of all, I don't know the guy's situation, but guys, if you're tired, stop working overtime. All right, because 90% of the people in our warehouse that go around dozing off like that, they're people that volunteer for overtime and they just work way too much overtime because they can't say no. Do not compromise your health. Do not compromise the safety of you or others because you are tired on the floor. So obviously, he's partially at fault here because he fell asleep on his jack and he hit the rack. Secondly, this warehouse is at fault. I have seen quite a few of these videos where someone bumps a rack and the whole freaking kit and caboodle comes tumbling down. Too much weight on the racks. All right, these warehouses are so dumb. There has to be a weight, capacity that you can put on these racks. For someone to bump into the rack like that, and for the whole rack to come tumbling down, my opinion, there is way too much weight on the rack, or the rack was damaged and we don't have people inspecting these racks. We've had people slam in the racks at our work full speed, and this crap does not happen. So I don't know what country this was in. I know there was one in Russia. I'm sure you guys seen it. It was a TikTok. If I could find it, I'll throw it on my next video. There was a Russian warehouse. I think it was liquor and stuff like that. And the guy bumped into the rack and the whole entire warehouse fell down like a domino effect. Way too much weight on the rack, in my opinion, or the racks are not inspected and the racks are damaged. So to me, this video right here is partially the person that fell asleep fault, maybe like 10%, but 90% the warehouse's fault. There's no way a rack should fall over that easy for being bumped like that. All right, guys, let's move on to the next. We got a guy that obviously is filming himself. He set up the camera. He thought he would showboat a little bit. And this is what happens when you move fast. When you move fast, you suck ass. I'm sorry, but guys, so in this situation right here, first of all, he drove onto the truck way too fast. Way too fast. Dock plates, all that stuff, I think this one had the wooden bottom. Guys, you don't know if there's a low spot or anything. You should never be driving onto a truck that fast. Secondly, he thought he was going to be slick in front of the camera. He hurried up and picked it up and hurried up and backed out. And then his pallet, I don't know if he hit the down button or if he just didn't raise it enough. And then when he was coming out, there was a little lip, and then he dragged his pallet on the ground and it caught, and then it knocked the whole thing over. Guys, slow and steady, especially when you're taking pallets off of trucks. Slow and steady. And honestly, at the times that I've took pallets off the trucks with pacers, usually I do with a little stand-up pacer, not the sit-down. But when I do with the stand-up pacer, if I feel uncomfortable, I am not ashamed to call somebody on the. I'm not ashamed to call somebody on the truck. Hey, I need another set of eyes. Can you just stand over there and make sure that this is coming off all right? I'm not catching the pallet over there. I will stop what I'm doing, get off my equipment, go out, grab somebody and say, I need another set of eyes. Don't ever be afraid to do that when you're pulling stuff off the truck or doing whatever in the warehouse. So that is 1,000% the operator's fault. All right, guys, let's take a look at the last TikTok here. We got a guy that looks like he has grapes on a pallet and it is falling. Boom, fell over. We're going to look at this one more time and then we'll stop and talk about it. And I want you guys to, actually, I'm going to pause this right about there. All right, so let's talk about this TikTok. So two things. One, we got a white pallet that was put on top of a piece of blue wood. Sometimes these grapes come in and they were on a smaller pallet. So what, instead of clamping them on, putting them onto a blue pallet, what we do is we will just take it and put it onto a blue pallet so it fits up in the rack better. Because these small pallets do not fit in the rack properly, and they're could easily fall in between the racks like you've seen on the one video. First of all, if you are a forklift operator, you're supposed to do an inspection of your lift whenever you get on it. You're supposed to, we call these outriggers. You're supposed to check the outriggers. You're supposed to check for broken hoses, anything like that. Make sure everything's moving properly. And always check the forks. These forks are moved in. They can easily be moved out more. And when you move out more, you get more stability. Now, I don't like my forks all the way out. I like them the first notch in on each side. But see how this is tilted in? I think these forks could be moved. Maybe one side is moved in more than the other, but always check your forks, because you don't know if the previous high lift operator was moving shippers or something to that nature where he had to slide the forks in. Maybe he was moving something that was a little bit smaller of a pallet. Always check your forks. The second thing I want to point out here is, why is he sideways in the aisle? So I don't care if he was putting this up in the rack or taking it down from the rack. He turned in the air. All right. He turned as he was putting it up, because and it fell over. So my guess is he was taking it down and he swung out and then the thing fell over. Guys, when I have heavy loads, I will never turn in the air. I am always squaring up with the rack and bringing that crap all the way to the ground before I go and move my high lift. If I have really light product with just a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 layers, I will turn as I'm coming down. But I would never in a million years turn while I'm bringing a product down with that much weight on it and with a pallet on top of it. So this is 1000% the operator error, and it should never have happened. Guys, heavy loads, you square up, you bring that stuff all the way to the ground before you turn. All right, guys, like I said, that's my last TikTok for today. I hope you guys like this. Now, I put a survey out, only 100 people answered, and 15 people said they did not like the addition of the TikToks. For you 15 people, oh, well. I like the TikToks. I think it's a good learning experience. Like I said, we get to look inside the warehouse, see other people's mistakes, and we get to learn from them. So I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.